Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Yeah, that's how my Thursday started. Two guys in polyester police costumes, plastic badges and all, storming on my driveway at 7 in the morning. And what's my crime? Apparently, a 3-inch garden gnome. I'm standing there in my bathrobe, clutching my coffee, still half asleep, and one of them is waving these dollar store handcuffs while the other guy starts reading off some federal violation 47B for unauthorized lawn ornaments. You can't make this up. Of course, the neighbors, always up at the crack of dawn for other people's business, peek through their blinds. Mrs. Rodriguez 2 houses down. She's got her phone out and is already filming. Mr. Patel? He's standing on his porch, toothbrush dangling from his mouth, looking like he just walked into a Twilight Zone episode. Let me just pause here and ask, what would you do if 2 fake cops try to slap cuffs on you over a lawn decoration? Because I can tell you what most people on this street have done, and it isn't pretty. These clowns, let's call them Rodriguez and Johnson, just for fun, have been haunting Maplewood Estates for months. Elderly folks, terrified. 3 have sold their homes. Others are getting fined for flower pots, Christmas lights, and even non-compliant mailbox flags. My next-door neighbor, Mrs. Spencer, had her roses ripped out. She hasn't gardened since. But see, here's the part that actually makes me want to laugh. These guys, they have no idea who they're messing with. My name's Theodore Kane. I spent 15 years with the FBI, mostly chasing down financial crimes, con artists, embezzlers, white-collar thieves. I moved here 3 months ago for 2 reasons. 1, I needed a quiet place for my daughter Emma to visit after the divorce. And 2, my boss handed me a file full of complaints about HOA fraud and told me to get to the bottom of it. Buy a house, blend in, gather evidence. Maplewood Estates became my new assignment. Day 1, I'm breathing in the smell of fresh mulch, thinking about whether the kid at Home Depot ripped me off when Mrs. Spencer shows up with a plate of cookies and a look that could curdle milk. Welcome to the neighborhood, she whispers, eyes darting everywhere. But watch out for the president. And before I can even ask what she means, this white BMW comes screaming up my drive. Out steps Brenda Hartwell, mid-50s, blonde hair sprayed so stiff it might actually be bulletproof. She's got stilettos, a clipboard, and a perfume that smells like vanilla and chemical warfare. Mr. Kane, she says, we need to discuss your compliance violations. I'd only moved in yesterday, but she's got a list. Garden gnome violates Protocol 12A. Mailbox flag, wrong color blue. And she pulls out a tape measure. Your grass is 0.3 inches too long. I'm standing there, coffee still hot, letting my FBI brain take over. Every word, every twitch, every fake violation. It's not just random. It's targeted. Each infraction comes with a $150 fine, stacking daily. By our math, I'm up to $450 before I've even found the fuse box. Lucky for you, she says, tapping her acrylic nails. We've enhanced our enforcement capabilities. I raise an eyebrow. Enhanced enforcement? She grins. You'll find out soon enough. Then she hands me some official paperwork, complete with shiny seals that look suspiciously like they came from the craft store, and struts away. After she leaves, Mrs. Spencer is back, this time with backup. Harold from across the street. The Patels. She whispers. The Hendersons lasted 4 months before selling. The Kowalskis? 6 weeks. The Martinez family cracked after 2 months. She targets newcomers and the elderly. Anyone who won't fight back. That night, I'm at my kitchen table with case files spread everywhere, the glow of my laptop turning me into a conspiracy theorist. 12 houses sold below market value after compliance disputes. Every single one bought up by Hartwell Properties, LLC. What a coincidence. And the next morning, another 3 violations in my mailbox. My doormat is non-compliant brown. Fines climbing, $750 and counting. Emma calls that afternoon. Dad, the kids at my new school heard about some crazy HOA lady. Please tell me you're not fighting with her already. What do you even say to that? The next morning, Brenda's BMW is idling outside. I catch whiffs of cigarette smoke through my window. She's on the phone, watching the house, setting up her little surveillance routine. I can taste the tension, metallic, bitter. This is deeper than some petty HOA power trip. At lunch, Mrs. Spencer calls me, voice low and shaky. More violations overnight. And two men in police uniforms asking about you. Men in police uniforms. Now it's getting fun. A block number calls. Mr. Kane, Officer Rodriguez with HOA Enforcement Division. We need to schedule a compliance interview regarding your accumulating violations. HOA Enforcement Division, give me a break. But I play along. Sure, Officer Rodriguez. When? Tomorrow morning. Bring payment. Cash only. Cash only. These aren't just scammers. This is a full-on criminal operation. And sure enough, the next morning, here they come. Rodriguez, tall, nervous, keeps fidgeting with his badge. Johnson, built like a bouncer, trying to look serious but can't pull off cop for anything. Both carrying handcuffs, both with that forced authority they practice in front of the mirror. Mr. Kane, you've accumulated $1,247 in violations over 8 days. Rodriguez reads from a printout that looks like he borrowed it from a fake legal website. Failure to pay results in residential trespassing charges. I nearly spit out my coffee. Trespassing. On my own property. Standard enforcement protocol, sir, Johnson says, stepping forward. His cologne is so strong I can taste it. I need to see badge numbers and credentials, I say. They freeze. Rodriguez pats his pockets like he's looking for his library card. Our identification is in the patrol vehicle. Protocol requires handling violations first. This is amateur hour, but they keep trying. Johnson puffs up. We've handled situations like this before, Mr. Kane. Ask the Hendersons. Bingo. That's the confession I needed. This isn't their first rodeo. They're pros. They got a system, multiple victims, and now they're threatening an FBI agent to his face. The Hendersons moved away, I say, pulling out my phone and hitting record. Exactly, Rodriguez grins. Much cleaner than fighting City Hall. I keep the camera rolling. Would you state your names and departments again for the record? Instant panic. Johnson blusters. Recording law enforcement without consent is illegal. Not here, boys, I say. Single-party consent state. I ask which police department they're with. Rodriguez clears his throat. We're specialized contractors working with local authorities. Yeah, sure you are. Love to verify that with your supervisor, I say, grinning. Johnson steps right up to my face. You're making this difficult. Pay the fines. Avoid trouble. The crunch of his boots on the gravel sounds like a threat. That afternoon, I walk into the real police station. Sergeant Martinez, been on the force 20 years, watches my video and just shakes his head. We've got no HOA enforcement unit. Never have. He pauses the video. These idiots are impersonating officers. That's a federal crime. You want to press charges now? Not yet, I say. I want the whole thing. Federal racketeering, not just a slap on the wrist. That night, I'm up late. Pizza on the counter, my eyes burning as I scroll through old HOA charters and city ordinances. Turns out, the original Maplewood Estates rules from 1987 cap fines at $25. Require a board vote for enforcement. Everything Brenda's done, illegal. Mrs. Spencer calls at 10 p.m., voice shaking. They came back, asking neighbors about you. What hours you're home, if you live alone. It's classic escalation. Harassment, then surveillance, then confrontation. I install security cameras, real ones disguised as regular home gear. They want to play federal crimes on camera? Be my guest. A text pings my phone. Unknown number. Final warning, Kane. Payment due tomorrow or enforcement actions begin. Cash only. I text back, looking forward to meeting your supervisors. Immediate response. You'll regret this. These idiots are building my prosecution case for me. That night, sitting on my porch, listening to the sprinklers, I smile. Tomorrow, the fake cops are going to get a lesson in what real law enforcement looks like. The next morning, it's a circus. Brenda's BMW, a beat-up Honda with lawyer plates, and a guy who looks like he printed his law degree off the internet. Mr. Kane, meet my attorney, Richard Malloy, Brenda announces. Malloy looks like he handles divorce cases in a strip mall. He sweats through his suit. You're charged with harassment of HOA officials and obstruction of community governance. I sip my coffee. I ask to see badges. Demanding credentials is intimidation, Brenda snaps. We've documented your aggression. Malloy hands me paperwork dripping with fake seals. You now owe $4,200 in administrative fees. I shrug. I'll need to review this with my attorney. Brenda's face goes pale. Lawyers only complicate things, Mr. Kane. That afternoon, I run background checks that make even my FBI friends chuckle. Malloy, Brenda's cousin, graduated last year from a law school nobody's heard of. His entire practice? Real estate closings for Hartwell Properties. But here's the kicker. Brenda's not just scamming this neighborhood. She's running the same game in 3 other communities. Same violations, same fines, same sales to her company. It's a fraud franchise. And the money? All those fines go straight into Brenda's personal account, not a community fund. Her security company provides enforcement to the HOAs she manages. And the properties get flipped for a profit. This is no petty tyranny. It's organized racketeering. Mrs. Spencer calls at midnight. They're asking everyone if you seem unstable, if you own weapons, if you've made threats. Classic character assassination. The next morning, Mrs. Rodriguez stops by, looking queasy. They offer me $50 to say you seemed aggressive. She didn't take it. By now, the violations are pure comedy. Doormat the wrong brown, hose not concealed, newspaper left out, $1.50 a day each. Harold gets dinged for excessive nighttime illumination. His porch light was on past 11. He shuffles over with a stack of tickets. They want $4,100 for porch lights and leaving my trash out 6 minutes too long. His hands tremble, not from age but anger. Then Rodriguez shows up again. Clipboard ready. Fake authority dialed up to 11. Mr. Kane, reports of threatening behavior toward officials. I need to document your violation status. He tries to sound tough, but his badge says enforcement in Comic Sans. I ask which academy trained him. Silence. Cooperation is strongly recommended, Mr. Kane. Translation. We're losing control. My phone buzzes Emma. Dad, is it true you're getting arrested over a garden gnome? Everyone at school is talking about it. Now it's personal. Friday morning, the circus arrives. 4 guys in matching polyester uniforms march up my drive, waving papers and looking like a Halloween SWAT team. Mr. Kane, step outside. We have a federal arrest warrant for continued HOA violations. Federal arrest warrant for a garden gnome. The neighbors are out in force now. Mrs. Spencer's filming. Harold's got his camera. Even Mr. Kowalski hobbles out with his walker. I step onto my porch, voice loud and clear. Which federal judge signed this warrant for garden gnome violations? The new guy, Sergeant Williams, unfolds paperwork stamped with what looks like a notary's seal. Judge Morrison, Eastern District Federal Court. I grin. I've worked every judge in this circuit. There's no Judge Morrison and barely an Eastern District. I ask to see the warrant. Williams clutches the papers like he's afraid I'll bite. Document review occurs during booking procedures. Please turn around. By now, half the neighborhood is filming. I ask for full names, badge numbers, agency. Rodriguez snaps. Questioning authority is obstruction. I reply, actually, Supreme Court precedent protects my right to verify credentials. The 4th guy steps up. We've done this dozens of times in multiple jurisdictions. Gotcha. That's interstate fraud on camera. Harold chimes in from his porch. Uniforms all wrong. Wrong fabric. Badges in the wrong spot. I outfitted federal agents for 3 years. Those are costume shop specials. Rodriguez panics, pulls out his phone, and calls someone mid-arrest. Neighbors recording everything. Situations blown up. What do we do? No real federal agent calls for backup in the middle of an arrest. Right then, Mrs. Spencer walks up, phone out. My nephew's a real cop. Says no federal agency arrests people for HOA violations. He's sending someone. Cue the real sheriff's cruiser. Sergeant Martinez gets out, hand on his holster, looks the scene over, and says, "Ma'am, reported impersonators." Rodriguez turns white. Johnson inches toward their car. Williams stares at his feet. "Gentlemen, meet actual law enforcement," I say, feeling lighter than I have in weeks. Saturday afternoon, I'm helping Harold organize his basement war room when he hands me a dusty folder, the original 1987 HOA charter. 3 pages. Maximum fines, $10. No enforcement officers. No property seizures. I flipped through, realizing Brenda's whole operation is built on a lie. The previous owner of my house, an elderly lady, died owing nearly $5,000 in fake fines. Brenda was targeting my property for her next for sale. Except this time, she picked a federal agent. The numbers are staggering. $127,000 in bogus fines. 12 homes lost. Same scheme running in 3 counties. I call my boss. This is bigger than harassment. We're talking racketeering, mail fraud, elder abuse, interstate crime. He gives me the green light for a full investigation. But now, I have something even better. Actual proof Brenda has 0 legal authority. Every fine, every threat, every fake cop, all federal crimes. And the neighborhood is waking up. Harold shows me a business card. Jessica Kim, investigative reporter. She's been chasing HOA fraud across the state, winning awards for elder abuse stories. We set up a meeting. Mrs. Spencer bursts in, whispering Brenda's planning a public accountability announcement at the fall festival. Law enforcement will be there for community consequences. My FBI training tells me. Classic power play. Public humiliation to terrorize dissenters. But this time, Brenda's walking into a trap. Cameras rolling, witnesses everywhere, and an FBI agent ready to turn her theater into a perp walk. Emma's visiting that weekend, excited for her boring suburban dad festival. She has no idea. Harold and I transform his basement into FBI headquarters. Maps, files, recording equipment disguised in festival decorations. Cameras and pumpkins, microphones in the speakers, backup systems everywhere. I brief the neighborhood. Mrs. Spencer's committee gets phone cameras ready. Patel's on comms. Even Mr. Kowalski has observation duty on his scooter. I tell everyone, stay calm, keep recording, let me handle the rest. Saturday arrives. The air is sharp cold. Brenda's police command unit, RV, is parked at the festival. Magnetic decals, party store lights, pure amateur hour. Harold and I watch from his window, sipping coffee that tastes like justice. The festival is in full swing. Funnel cakes, apple cider, kids in costumes. Brenda's fake enforcement team prowls, checking credentials, measuring grass, handing out citations. Emma tugs my sleeve. Dad, why are there so many cops? I just smile. Should be an interesting day, sweetheart. At 11, Brenda takes the stage. Her voice booms over the speakers. Welcome. Before we begin, we have important business. Our federal enforcement partners are here to resolve compliance issues. She gestures to Rodriguez's crew. Some residents owe significant violations. Public accountability ensures community standards. Then, right on cue, she points at me. Mr. Kane, please approach the stage for violation review. I walk up. Phones everywhere. Jessica Kim's crew gets in position. Emma's wide-eyed. Rodriguez steps forward. You're under arrest for federal violations of residential community standards. Which federal agency handles garden gnome enforcement? I ask. The Federal Community Standards Bureau, he says. On video, in front of 50 people. Show me your credentials. I pull out my phone, recording their panic. Johnson blusters, questioning federal authority is obstruction. I reply, calm as ever. Citizens have a constitutional right to verify law enforcement before submitting to arrest. Brenda can't take it. Grabs the mic. Mr. Kane has been warned repeatedly. These officers have full authority to arrest for noncompliance. Right then, Mrs. Spencer's nephew, the real police officer, arrives in his patrol car. He parks where everyone can see him. Rodriguez notices and turns pale. But Brenda doubles down. Officer Rodriguez, proceed with the arrest. This community will not tolerate residents who undermine federal law enforcement. Rodriguez approaches, handcuffs ready. Emma grabs my arm. And that's when I flip open my badge. Federal Agent Theodore Kane, FBI Financial Crimes Division. You're all under federal arrest. The crowd erupts, gasps, cheers, cameras flashing. Rodriguez freezes. Johnson goes white. Emma's jaw drops. Brenda, suddenly speechless, drops her mic. There's been a mistake, she stammers. These men aren't. Too late. I call for backup. Real FBI agents move in, reading federal warrants. Mrs. Spencer's nephew steps up. Impersonating law enforcement is a federal crime. Step away from the microphone. Harold brings up his files. 3 years of evidence, all documented. Jessica Kim goes live, broadcasting everything. Rodriguez tries to claim, we never said we were federal agents. I play the video from 10 minutes ago. Emma whispers, Dad, this is why you moved here. Mrs. Spencer approaches, tears in her eyes. We were so scared. We thought we'd lose our homes. I tell her, federal asset forfeiture will recover everything, plus damages. Harold salutes. Mr. Kowalski wheels his scooter closer. The festival turns into a celebration. Neighbors who lived in fear finally feel safe. 6 months later, I sit on my porch as Emma helps Mrs. Spencer plant new yellow roses, the same ones that started this whole mess. Brenda pled guilty to 47 federal charges, 8 years in prison, $340,000 in restitution. Rodriguez and his crew get 3 to 5 years for impersonating officers. The security company that hired them is gone. The community is safe. Maplewood Estates elected Mrs. Spencer as the new HOA president. All fines capped at $25. Harold's war room turned into the neighborhood's archive. Evidence, warnings, and coffee stains. And me? I'm heading a new federal task force, chasing down HOA fraud across the country. You know, people think these scams work because the criminals are smart. But really, their only power is your silence, your fear, your hope that maybe, if you just keep your head down, they'll move on to someone else. Want to know what actually stopped them? It wasn't my badge or my training. It was a dusty old folder, the original charter, the real rules. Brenda's whole operation depended on nobody checking. Her power was all noise and intimidation. All it took was someone asking the right questions. So, have you ever dealt with a bully, HOA or otherwise, who counted on you never pushing back? I bet there are more out there than people think. Drop a comment if you've been through something like this. Or just tell me, if you'd been me, would you have pushed back? Where's the line between following the rules and letting someone steamroll your life? Sometimes the best defense isn't about fighting harder. It's just knowing what you're actually up against.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.